All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program Mentor Orientation. If you are here, it's because you are a mentor, a part of a mentoring team. And so we want to thank you for all the wonderful work you do to support students. This is with the Office of Undergraduate Research, and this event is being recorded. So we just invite you to kindly and please mute yourself. And if you want to turn off your camera so we can ensure the best experience, and also, if you have questions, use the chat feature or unmute yourself when invited. The mission of the Office of Undergraduate Research, you all are familiar with it because you're mentoring students, but our commitment is to facilitate and promote undergraduate student faculty collaborative research across the disciplines at the U. And we want to acknowledge this land, which feeds and sustains us, is a traditional and ancestral homeland of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshu, and Ute tribes, and that our university respects enduring relationships with our Indigenous communities and their traditional homelands. My name is Dr. Annie Isabel Fukushima. Many of you I've met, some of you, it looks like I'm meeting you for the first time. I'm the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies, and I run the Office of Undergraduate Research. I am joined by Cindy, who can introduce herself. Cindy.
Hi, folks. I too think I've met most of you, but I do see some new faces. So I am the Associate Director in the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I run the UROP program, Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, and a few other things.
Yes, and so Cindy runs our oldest program, Europe, the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, and it's been going since the late 1980s. So if you get an email from her, you probably should respond to it. It's probably important. So we just encourage you to keep responding to her. But we don't do this work alone. So I like to, every time I do presentations, share the rest of our team. They're not here because there's a bunch of other things happening today. But we do this work in collaboration with the rest of the team, as well as students that we hire in addition to the students that we hire for you. So we're going to go over a little bit overview of the undergraduate research mentoring opportunities for faculty, specifics about mentoring Europe scholars, as well as some information about fall programming. I will try to commit to getting this meeting done in about, Cindy, how long do we have? Is it an hour?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we have
Okay, we'll
an
make it
hour.
a goal to see, can we do this in 45 minutes? I think we can, folks, maybe even less. And so let me just give you an overview of the office. But before we get into that, I do love starting with this because it gives me joy. If you all could, in your chat, don't hit submit yet, just type it up in the chat, and then I'll let you know when we're ready to submit, and then we all submit it at the same time. But describe one positive win you've had with undergraduate research mentoring recently. So don't hit submit, just type it in. I'll give you a moment. Oops. Cindy, you can't see my chat and stuff over this, can you? The Zoom chat features, you can't see it, right? You just see this
Nope, I
project.
just see your screen.
Okay, and they can see it, right? Okay, great. Oh, good. Okay, great. And they're seeing, okay, great. All right, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, submit. And let's just see it all. And if you did already, it's great. Okay, good. All right. Oh, right. Look at that, Donna, on fire. Lots of students hitting our cap. So yes, folks, if you're wondering, how does Donna mentor 4 students? You are eligible, all of you are eligible to mentor up to 4 students. We had to create a cap because otherwise we can't share the joy of mentoring if all of you are mentoring, an indefinite number. Sherry had a poster award winner. Congratulations. Amy's a former Europe student finally getting into medical school. That's wonderful. Is it at the U, Amy, or is it somewhere else? It's totally okay. All right, we'll just keep that a secret. Maybe they haven't decided. Students going to great grad school, completion of Naring Spur and Europe awarded. Working with an enthusiastic learner. Yes, those are good things too. Watching a student who is taking pride in their poster. Oh, who was failing? Take part. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, seeing them turn around. That's great. My students' research was accepted for Europe. Yes, IRB approval. And then we see joy in the face of your mentee. Yes, so we have those everyday engagements to getting you ideas, good ideas. Thomas got good ideas for research directions, conference proposal with an undergraduate. Yes, publication submitted. Hey, look at that. And a student was able to use evidence from data to correct. Wow, Quinn, that's brave. Look at that. One student expressed appreciation, witnessing students execute creative projects of their interest, and a former Europe student was accepted in a neuroscience program at Yale, and two other students were accepted to graduate school, University of Delaware and University of Rhode Island. Their success is our success. That is amazing. You all are doing wonderful work. So I just want to congratulate you and thank you for sharing that. Cindy, please download the chats so we always have a nice little record of the wonderful successes that you all are doing. Um, One thing we do want to share with you all, as we do like sharing some of the data, it's we're as like you all are working with UAir, and what we know is that 90% of Europe scholars graduate in 6 years, and 60% graduate in 4 years, and that 80% of our students funded land a job within a year of graduating for those who are going on into the job market. And so we know that our students are doing wonderful work. If you're interested in seeing last year's success, Cindy's going to drop in this link into the chat. And don't feel like you need to take notes because maybe you're an avid note taker. Cindy will share the slides with you. So just know this information is coming your way. If you want to see some of the other data on the success that we have as an office because of all of you. But as you know, mentoring is relational and developmental, and it has career and psychosocial functions. There's a range of functions that mentoring has, and it can be formal, informal, diverse. We can do it online, electronically. We can have collaborative mentoring to group-based, peer-based, multi-level, and it can even be one that brings in cultural aspects of our different fields or disciplines, who we are. It's not one way, or coaching. Mentoring is quite dynamic, and you all are doing this wonderful work of mentoring. And we know that when you are mentoring, our students greatly benefit from it. As we're seeing in your blowing up the chat, it is not just that they get into grad schools, it is those meaningful things in the interpersonal dynamics, those big wins that are personal wins, and can include publications and presentations. And mentoring is a form of teaching. And so we like to encourage all of you to make sure you include the mentoring of Europe scholars under teaching in your CVs, unless if you're doing publications and presentations with them. Not everyone does. Our fields vary dramatically because all the work that you are doing is helping them to think like a researcher. You're doing metacognition, creating belonging to our university, scaffolding experiences, and you are fostering undergraduates as an integral part of a research pipeline, whether they become colleagues in the making, or they go on into industry work, into the workforce and community to do wonderful, powerful things as leaders. And so I want to thank you all for that. And so that's just a very high note about mentoring. We're going to talk about some opportunities for faculty and get into some of the changes that have happened with Europe specifically. But I just want to remind you all that now, for many of you, we recognize your names. You're already faculty affiliates, but we encourage you. Cindy's going to drop in the faculty affiliates link. And I want to encourage you. She's also going to put in a second link, which is how to update your page. Students can literally search the faculty affiliates. They can keyword search. And so if words like cancer research or cancer or identity or interviews or sociological methods, I don't know, whatever, right? Whatever is your kind of jam that you want students to find you, make sure that's in your faculty affiliate description, because when they search, they're not just searching by college, and that's all they'll know about you. And so we encourage you to update your bios there. Some of them may include former bios and all of that. We just want to remind you that if you want to have the office present to your class so that you can, ensure that a next generation of incoming students or students who may not know about our opportunities are aware about it, let us know. And we're happy to do a class presentation. The education series, which Cindy's also going to drop in, she's going to put in the request of presentation as well as the education series website. You'll find that there's great content in there. And I I use it even when I'm teaching my own research methods class. I usually include content so my students can find things like how to do write an abstract or a lit review or even give a presentation. And it doesn't mean I don't support them through those steps, but it might mean that there's something else for them to kind of help them think about it so they're not overwhelmed by the big internet search. Um, and one of the things I just want to share with you is that we know, and Cindy can share this link in chat as well, is we know that we are in a moment of great change, and that the world is changing, our nation is changing, and research funds have been changing as well, and that research communities have been impacted. So we want to acknowledge this great moment of change that we are all experiencing, and folks are experiencing it differently. Some more acutely and others less. But either way, it is changing our institutions and students' perceptions of higher education institutions. I know that when I recently gave a presentation to admissions, one of the questions that kept coming up from admissions folks is from them about their students is they were asking and saying like, oh, why should I go to research one university like University of Utah if funding is going away, right? How am I going to afford to go to another university if I'm out of state? Or they have concerns about participating in research. Why go to an R1 when they believe that it might be safer to go to a teaching university? Nonetheless, we all know we are here in our institution. We know that research matters. We have seen the positive impacts research has on our communities and for society writ large. And so what I would encourage all of you is just to be aware of some of those misperceptions of the value of research in higher education that your students themselves may be carrying that may create barriers for them to reach out to you to do research with you and all of that, and see the office as a resource to continue to share with students and advocate that research with our faculty and their teams is an important not just for career building or for the next thing, but as you all were sharing in the chat, examples of it can be just fulfilling for life, that these people are doing things that are really having meaning. The other things I just want to remind you all is if you're applying for grants, please do reach out to the office if you're going to incorporate undergraduates in your budget. I am happy to write a letter of collaboration or letter of support. We do not have to get all the money to support students. In fact, we cannot. We do not have all the money. And so we love it when our faculty apply for grants and they lean on our infrastructure and offerings to support their students. And so please do reach out and also let me know how you are describing the office, as well as if there are things you're leveraging, like our summer program activities, we can always chat more deeply about how we can collaborate there. And we do have a research database that I like to remind our faculty about. Cindy's going to plop this in here, is into the chat, is that the research database is an opportunity for students to find opportunities with you. And in it, as a reminder, you will find that students can search for non-paid opportunities. You can, if you're willing to take students for credit or have them apply for Europe or other opportunities, just make that clear so the student knows what's in store for them. And so just as a reminder, share some of the opportunities like travel and small grants. There aren't a lot of small travel grants for students on campus. And sadly, we can't fund everyone, but we can fund some students. And so we encourage your students to apply for travel and small grants. Our scholarship opportunities as well. We have a range of scholarships that we offer in the fall and spring, as well as our prizes with the Monson Prize, the Venkatesan essay prize, as well as awards with the Outstanding Undergraduate Research Award. But our website and all of that is supposed to be easy for students to find opportunities and also to find you. And so we want to thank you. And I just want a quick reminder about the Outstanding Undergraduate Research Award. I know you all are very humble, but you are amazing. So please, I've already reached out to your deans, associate deans, and in some colleges, directors, depending on who they are. Medicine, it's usually Sean Flynn and Rachel Hess. So we have different contacts. That's an AVP and a director. And so if you're interested in nominating yourself or having yourself nominated, or your student wants to nominate you, or you want to nominate your mentee, please do reach out and to see if the memo has gone out for the Outstanding Undergraduate Research Award and all of that. And that should be happening soon. So I'm going to talk about Europe, but I'm going to pause to see if anyone has any questions because I've been chatting a ton. Any questions? I am seeing the silence as you are amazed, and all of that. You're doing great. Okay, good. So we're going to talk about some specific things about mentoring Europe scholars. Cindy, can you see the slides?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit about mentoring Europe scholars. And so I'm going to do another waterfall activity, but don't hit submit again. We're going to all do it together because we love seeing it, all just waterfall. So please respond to what is an example of an effective strategy you employ to mentor Europe scholars? And if you are first time doing it, then feel free to just envision what you hope to do. All right. And I see that we need the faculty form update. Cindy will do that in a bit after the waterfall activity.
Oh,
So
I
we
just
don't,
posted it, so it's there. It might get lost in the waterfall.
oh, no worries.
Okay. All of
Okay.
this will be sent to everybody. All these links will be sent afterwards,
Yeah.
just in case you miss them in the chat.
And you can also just send Cindy an email and she'll, she doesn't mind the individual emails. I do it all the time and she's very responsive. So please feel free to send a message. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and on three, go ahead and hit submit. 1, 2, 3, submit. All right. Look at how cool that is. Okay. Listening to their ideas and having them think about how it applies to their academic careers. Thanks, Paul. Lots of listening, even Abby's listening and empathy. Donna is, once they're trained in the techniques, I like to give them ownership of a certain project. Yes, we want to mentor for independence. That's great. And that it can turn into publication. Sometimes that's a goal. Mar is approachable. Derek is subversive. I love that. And let's see, Dennis is, I do one-on-one experiments and data analysis. Yeah, teaching them those fundamental skills. Quinn, asking my mentee what they would like to accomplish. Corey, connecting them with the student mentors and other members of the lab so they feel fully integrated into the fabric of the lab, include them in other undergraduate students in all lab meetings. Amy, tailor project to their interests. Andrew, lead by example. Paul, schedule regular meetings. Emily, help with timelines. Henry, have the researcher come up with a set of deliverables and timelines they see as manageable. Mark, meet weekly meetings. Maria, frequent, consistent, instructive, and supportive meetings. That is a great list, folks, of things you are doing for your mentees. And we really appreciate it. And hey, what you don't see in there is you're going to pay your mentee because you know what? Cindy's got that handled. Cindy is taking care of hiring them. They've already been all that paperwork and all of that, $1,200 for them to do 120 hours of work during one semester, during this fall semester with you. And so just as a reminder, the next deadline is October 31st for spring. So if you are loving it, if they are loving it, we encourage you to encourage them to apply for the next deadline. And then just know that all the logistics Cindy has informed them of, such as pay, as well as withdrawal processes, should that happen, working with mentors, receiving support from OUR and all of that. And so Cindy, did you do the orientation already? No, it's coming up. Is it coming up? It's coming up. I should know the stuff because I usually attend it. But I just, what is time? And so Cindy will do it soon. So they will know all this stuff. Don't worry about the logistics. Cindy is taking care of that. But one thing some of you may have seen, not everyone, and if not, no worries, folks. It will be something that's going to be more visible. We piloted this fall that your Europe scholars that are honors students are eligible to receive the honors thesis completion award. And so any student who submitted for Europe right now has historically, they could also be considered for Wilkes, and they would, Wilkes Foundation is another partner if they were doing environmental research. But now we've added to the buffet of support is they can potentially get an honors thesis award. And they can't get both. What we want is more students to get funding because our pot's not growing, but we are now partnering with more folks to grow the pot and ensure that more students get funding. And so students who are in honors, if they get the thesis award, it's more money. So I'm sorry, if they wanted the Europe, it's $1,200, folks. So we just assume you would want more money and they can apply again for Europe. It doesn't rule them out for eligibility for up to 2 semesters of Europe. They can keep applying again, but now there's more opportunities for more money. So we partnered with honors and those students that were selected. It's not a large number, but it's a good number. So 12 this fall, and I believe we're going to do 13 in the spring. And we shall see moving forward in the fall and spring semesters if we can continue to grow that with the Honors College. And with Wilkes, it was about how many students, Cindy? Was it 30 something? Cindy does, it's okay, 30 something. Sure, that sounds about right. No worries. And so, yeah, so we are trying to grow the number of students we support and award. But they can't get both. They can either get a Europe, a Spur, or a Wilkes at a single time. And that's just to ensure that more students are supported in a given moment. I know there were lots of questions that were coming up about this. And so I don't know if anyone specifically has questions about it, but Cindy is doing a separate orientation for the honors thesis award students on the same day as the Europe students. So know that those students are all going to have an orientation. And if your student has any questions about how they receive the money and all of that, she will connect with them. But generally, all of these programs, the same expectations. They have the same expectations about education series as well as presenting at our symposia. The only difference is Wilkes students have to also present at the Wilkes symposia. And I believe honors students also have an expectation to also present at the honors symposia. So they just have to do a little more presenting, but no one is saying you can't present the same poster and make it do work and all of that. So that is a partnership update that we wanted to make sure you all get. Cindy, were there any questions? No, I don't think so, right? Any questions for folks? The silence is deafening, but it usually is like this on Zoom. Okay. Yeah, so as a reminder, Cindy will plop this link into the chat as well. You already are on it. When we saw you all blowing up the chat with your setting clear expectations, you already are going to be doing that. We just want to remind you, we do have templates if you need them. And so if you want to use it to just remind your mentee about setting up expectations and all of that, we also encourage you to revisit your timelines because the world changes from the time they applied. And we know that actually the Europe deadline was much earlier this summer. So we thank you all for working hard to get your applications in and knowing that it was a lot earlier than expected. And then all kinds of fun things happened with budgets with the university that also delayed things. So all kinds of fun things. But just, as a reminder, schedule out regular points of connection with your mentee, discuss your communication style, and that reminder that you all agreed to these expectations. And so we thank you for agreeing to all these things that you signed in an email. One thing I want to remind you all, because sometimes faculty travel, is that that while you may be able to travel out of state, if your mentee is working in state, they are required to work in state. And so just keep that in mind. You may set up some remote options for them. We do have resources on remote mentoring. So if you and your mentee need some resources on that, let us know. But Europe scholars must work in state. And so that's just as a friendly reminder. And if there is going to be a barrier to that, we encourage you to just have your mentee connect with the office. We want to make sure your student is supported and we can see what else there is. There's some tools that we've shared before on alignment as well as other adapted agreements. So Cindy, can you share those in the chat for them? But I just want to remind you all that you're mandated reporters, as you all know. So any issues come up with injury on the job, OEO Title IX, you do have to actually inform OUR because technically they're employed by the Office of Undergraduate Research. While you are the faculty mentor, we just want to remind you that they report up in the system to us. And so please do let us know if something happens. to them, which it doesn't always happen. So just know most times business as usual, things are great. But just let us know as a hiring supervisor how we can support the student. Please make sure that Cindy is included in those communications. I am going to be on leave. So from September 1 to December 31st, working on my book. Yay me, I'll be doing some research. And so that means that actually, feel free to send it to me still. It's not like I'll be totally off the planet, but Cindy is going to be your person. So Cindy will be the one who can make sure that if it's needed to be elevated to our senior associate Dina Gutter in my stead, or if it's something that she knows we already have resources and all of that. So please just keep us informed as a supervising office and just as the hiring office. You are their faculty mentor and you're supervising their research. We have a ton of resources that we usually share with you about mental health, case management support, student success, as well as disability services and the Office of First Gen. Those links you can check out in a slide. We want to remind you that we do request that your mentee acknowledge the office in any presentations or publications because, we help them out. So we just love getting the recognition. So we appreciate it. If you could just have some acknowledgement to the Office of Undergraduate Research and the Opportunity Program. Your students and you will receive an end of semester report. Please don't ignore this email. This helps justify our end of semester reporting and how we continue to pay the bills, folks, and pay your students. So please make sure you fill out this report as well as encourage your mentees to fill it out. It's really important information for us, and so we appreciate it. We do have a current scholars resources, and we have updated this page. And so I just wanted to share with you how it looks so clean and organized, and we are so excited. So if you want to check out, there are now resources specifically for your scholar here, as well as Spur Scholars, that was in the summer, and general resources, payment and scholarship questions. And so we just want to remind you that there's this as well as this is for current, but we also have another one. So sorry, where's my speak one. Okay, and then we also have resources. That's our current scholars, but general resources here as well has been updated. And so if you can check it out, there are resources for students as well as there are resources for faculty. And so we just want to make sure you have all the resources available to all of you. All right, folks. So let's see, I would like to pause now, brief discussion. Are there any questions or tips you'd like to discuss for supporting your mentee this fall? So let's pause for a discussion and a stop screen share, if that's okay. Any questions coming up for folks as you think about mentoring your mentee? Is it too early before the semester starts? Folks are feeling like it feels so far away. That is next week, and I will worry about it then. Yeah. Have you met with your mentees? Are you scheduled to meet with them? I'm sure you're already scheduled to meet with them. And if you're not, no shame, just go ahead and send an email. Nothing hard about getting them in your calendar. Yeah. Any questions coming up for folks? Mentee can present research out of the country during the semester. So Mark, is your students, oh, that's a great question. So is this a national, like a international conference that you're asking about?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, your students can. I would recommend that if they need resources, that they reach out to the office, that they make sure that they go through you to make sure that they have all of the travel insurance that they need for their safety since they are employees and students of the U. We do have some resources that we can connect them with as well. But that's what my recommendation. If you're asking if they want to apply for funds, the travel grants, which Cindy can drop in the link here in the chat, if she didn't already. She probably didn't because there were so many links she was throwing in there. And so the travel grant actually is a good one that your student can apply for. We do prioritize for conferences that the student is a presenter. So if they're just attending, they get deprioritized because of limited funds. But your student can do that if they have their own funds. Just keep in mind, if you're asking them to do it out of their own pocket, if they can afford it, great. If it's going to be burdensome, then maybe you come up with other way for them to participate in presentations. Yeah, great question. Love it, Mark. You're like, look what you're doing. You're gonna also take them global. Your research is going global with your mentee. That's awesome. Other things coming up for folks. Questions. There's no question that is too small or too big. We have seen all the questions, people, and we have dealt with all the issues, believe me. I see Derek is coming on camera. Derek, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So a student can do 2 semesters of UROP. Beyond that, do you have suggestions if there's a student that's done really well that we'd like to keep around? Is it just we just hire them and with
Yeah.
through other funds, or are there other programs that you would
Great
recommend?
question. I love it, Derek. So they're eligible for up to 2 semesters of Europe. So they'll apply for this next deadline for another semester. They will be in the same competitive pool that they were in last time, but and by we, I mean Cindy. Cindy organizes it so reviewers know that they are reviewing students who are continuing on. We encourage the student not to just submit the same thing because it will look like they didn't do anything. And
Sure.
so encourage them to kind of really take seriously the work that they've done, the lessons they've learned, and the what they will continue to do in partnership with your research and you as their mentor. But so after 2 semesters, we do have scholarships. And so if you look at the scholarships page, there's a couple of funding that are actually, we don't get a lot of applications. For example, with, is it the Francis doesn't have a lot of applications and the D, and I think it's because of the timeline of maybe when they come in. And so I would encourage your students to actually get on our listservs because we are always announcing our scholarships and our team is always directly emailing them. So they should be checking their emails when they're eligible for specific scholarships. And so, but in case if they miss the email, they can always just visit our website and just keep note of the deadline. And if they're unsure, they can reach out and the office can always clarify for them. But scholarships is another one. And then that's also why we partnered with Wilkes and also with the honors colleges. So then that way they could get honors and Wilkes and then Europe's. Like it's whatever. They just can't get the Europe more than twice. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we do have students who eat up all the awards. Good for them. Good for them. They know how to do it. Yeah. Donna, you came off on camera. Yeah.
Yeah, so back to if they get the honors and then they can
Mhm.
apply for Europe, does that mean they still get 2 opportunities for Europe or the
Yeah.
honor takes up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's a total of 3 possible.
Sure. I mean, technically it's honors money, so we don't want to take credit for it. So it's honors money and then to Europe if they got all. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so we encourage all. The honors is much more competitive though, since there are more students than there are awards. And so if your student didn't get selected, just as a clarification on the honors thesis award is the student has to be working on their thesis or the research they're doing with you as part of their thesis. And so that's what made them stronger eligible students for that award. If they were not, then honors did deprioritize them in the pool and they became second part of the list. And if those, yeah, anyway, so just so, yeah. Other questions coming up for folks? I see Maria is trying to come off camera. There we go.
Yeah, hi. Hey, thanks for this presentation. I'm learning a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I was working with my student over the summertime on IRB, and
Oh, great.
that was kind of challenging because,
Yeah.
there's not very much. It was challenging. So,
Mhm.
do you have support systems
Oh, I love
up
this
and
question.
going up and going during the academic year only? Because it feels like there
Yeah.
was a link that you guys have a
Yeah.
link.
So we have an IRB lab that we run, and it's actually run with our student that we hire in partnership with the IRB office who has staff support at the tip of their fingers. And that student also attends the panels, so they're also on committee reviewing IRB applications and making decisions with other colleagues. So we have, in the summer, we had to pause because our student got a job doing research in another state. And so it would have just been too much to try to figure out how to fill it with a student temporarily. And so we paused it and we committed to fall and spring at minimum. And so it's back live. Cindy can plop in. Oh, she already did. Look at that. Cindy knew I was going to ask her. The IRB lab, I encourage you to have your students attend that. They can always send us an email generally, and I'm always happy to kind of get them connected to the right folks if they have questions. But IRB lab is the best way to get peer support. If you just want to have your student work on those consent letters or work on the application and just kind of get started without you having to roll up your sleeves the entire time, where there's somebody they can ask questions that is a peer who they maybe will feel less intimidated, because IRB is intimidating, even for faculty. It's so bureaucratic, and so we wanted to make a less intimidating space for students to get support. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, so IRB's back. Cindy, when does it start? September?
I think September 3rd.
Yeah. So yeah, tell them to hang out as long as they want. The student loves when students come. So, and even grad students go to IRB lab. We don't say you have to be an undergrad. It is targeted to undergrads, but we've had grad students go, and even faculty attend to learn about how they can send their students to it. So anyone can go, but it's really for undergrads, and grad students are welcome. Yeah. Other questions coming up for folks? I love the questions. Yeah, so thank you, Maria, for mentoring on IRB. No easy feat. I think the fact that they even apply for IRB is a job in itself and a good research experience. So fabulous work. All right. I'm going to just do a quick rundown. If other questions come up, folks are welcome to I don't always see you, so you can just unmute yourself and start talking. I won't be offended, I promise. But just as a reminder, some of the fall programming that we have is the education series. There will be a faculty information session on SPUR. I encourage all of you to attend if you're interested in applying to be a SPUR mentor. We also are going to have an undergraduate researcher panel. They will talk about working with mentors, crafting an effective resume or CV, as well as navigating the inevitable uncertainty in research and life and artist studio practice, and there's more to come. So please check out our education series. There's like over 90 content on there, so please do check it out. But your students are required to attend 2 events that are live, so 2 of these in the list that are literally not on demand. And so encourage them to make sure they get it in their calendars. As well as I want to remind you, your student is eligible for the undergraduate research scholar designation. They are already doing the work. This shows up in their transcript by participating in the undergraduate research. And most of your students have 2 semesters or will have 2 semesters of research. They will have completed all of this, and they can submit to range, whether it's a research abstract to something more in depth. And so please encourage your students to get this, apply for this. It is a transcript designation. It literally shows up that they have an undergraduate research scholar designation. The deadline for the showing up in spring convocation is early February. And so get your student to think about doing this sooner than later. For the fall, we do have a virtual symposium. Your students can present at that, or if they are not graduating this semester, they can present at the spring symposia, which is in person, a lot more action and a bigger symposia, and maybe more typical of a presentation experience. So I encourage you, if your student has requirements to present, which they all do, at the symposia, and they are not graduating this fall, we encourage them to present in the spring. And just tell them, don't forget, it is their responsibility to remember to do this. The Range Undergraduate Research Journal also has wonderful submissions and content. We come out with it twice a year. The next issue will be coming out in January. So we do have the IRB lab funding Fridays. If your student is applying for anything, they can drop in any Friday from 1 to 3, as well as they can meet a member of our team. Our goal is to make things easier for you, but not to replace you. So we will not provide them advising on the research mechanics. We cannot do that. But if they want to apply for opportunities and they just want an outside eye looking at things, or they're giving a presentation and they want some feedback before they bring it to you, so it's not half half-baked, they're welcome to bring it to us. And we are happy to have our student leaders and staff give them support. We now have research tours. And so the research tours are to get students who are earlier interested in opportunities. And so just wanted to flag this for you. And so if you have students who are just getting started, or students who've reached out to you and you cannot take them on, tell them about the research tours and say, hey, you know what? I can't take you on. My lab's full, or my team's full, or my research capacities are full, and encourage them to go to a tour. They may be able to find a wonderful mentor through that. And so that is all of the slides. Let's see if we have any additional questions that have come up. Any other questions have come up for folks? Okay, all the cameras are off because I told you to, so totally understandable, because it just kind of it stresses the bandwidth of systems. Yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Just one more, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Do you have any PowerPoint templates with your info on them that are
Do you want
linkable?
these? We can totally give you these.
Just, I'm thinking of when folks are presenting, just
Yeah.
to use the appropriate verbiage.
Yeah, we can, Cindy will send, you know what, Cindy will send you, in addition to these slides, she'll send you the general class presentation we give. Because if you want to do our work for us,
No, I'm just
kidding.
looking, I'm
Yeah.
just looking for the template
Yeah,
for,
sure.
for
Yeah,
the
sure.
students when they present.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, I'm sorry, you're saying like for the
PowerPoint templates. Yeah, the university has them.
Yes.
We can also link that on there too.
You're talking about their symposia presentation, like when they do printing?
Oh, you muted yourself, Maria.
Yeah, just for when they present, just to have the correct template.
Oh, yeah.
Poster.
So actually, Cindy will share, can actually you share with them Greg Hatch and Donna Bellucci's presentation? Because it also has, the libraries actually do consultation, and we have them do a presentation twice a year, and they do free consultations. And so Cindy will put the link into that. But for that presentation, it's wonderful. And Greg and Donna will literally provide consultation to your students. They do have templates that they can use, but we also want to encourage students to keep in mind that different fields have different standards. We noticed that NSF and NIH presentations look very different than humanities and the fine arts. And so while we have some templates, just keep in mind it varies by field, and we also want students to commit to their field standards as well.